Hello and welcome to FanPark Live head-to-head in association with History. This is our fifth instalment of our passionate and our heated debates that we have had this week. Tonight, we are talking about Brian Clough and Sir Alex Ferguson, and we are debating which of the two was the best and greatest manager. We have Adam in the house tonight from the Fifth Official on the side of Sir Alex Ferguson.
Can you imagine?
And we have the man himself, the YouTube legend that is Clough from Arsenal Fan TV, in the corner of another legend of British football, Brian Clough. We're going to be debating this today, which of the two, I say, is the best and the greatest manager. We have a poll currently out on the Ultimate Football Fan Twitter page, to go and check that out. But we want your phone calls as well tonight. We want to hear from you, your opinions on this debate. 0203 606 0315. We want to hear from you. But remember, the real reason we're doing this is as of the 28th of May. Okay, 24 hours a day on history in the build-up to the World Cup. There's a big hashtag going around, hashtag history of football. It's going to be non-stop documentaries and films about the history of football right up until when the World Cup begins. So make sure you check that out on history. All the information for that is in our description below. I'm going to go to Mr. Clough first, and we're going to jump straight into this debate. Of course, we're going to go to some of your live YouTube comments as well, so keep them coming, some interesting ones already. But you're going to get 2 minutes to tell us why you think Brian Clough is a better and greater manager than Sir Alex Ferguson. Over to you.
Well, not so much limited resources as well that Ferguson had as well. But let's go through his managerial career. Won the title early 70s with Derby County. Then went on to had a bad time at Leeds United. Recovered. Eventually come to Nottingham Forest. Got them out of the second division at the time. Went straight up the next season. Went straight up in that season and won the title, the English League, the next season, which is a great feat. No one's ever done that. Yeah. He turned players like Kenny Burns from centre forward into centre half in a successful team. He turned average players that didn't make it anywhere else. He turned them average into a championship winning team. That was the special man he was. Yeah, he turned them into a proper championship winning team. Average players. Yeah. He also won back-to-back European Cups as well. You know, and winning that title with two clubs as well, two English clubs, winning the first division title as well with two English clubs. Amazing feat. I can't speak higher of the man. Amazing man.
Excellent points there from Clough. Remember, you're out there, you can try and debunk some of them. You can challenge some of them in the comments or by giving us a call on 0203 606 0315. Adam, over to you. Sir Alex Ferguson, take it away.
I have never played for a draw in my life. Those are the words of a fantastic coach, a born champion, a god amongst men, Sir Alex Ferguson. Half of those players that you mentioned, Claude, I don't even know who they're flipping are. Kenny Burns. Who's that? Who cares? Who actually cares?
No.
But we can compare the two. We can debate who's better, but realistically, there is only one winner. And I'm going to give you some facts just to put this debate into perspective. Alex Ferguson has won more games than Brian Clough. That's a fact. He has a win percentage of 60% across all competitions. Brian Clough, in his most successful spell as manager, has a win percentage of 48. And I've even rounded that up, to be fair. Alex Ferguson is a more decorated manager. He has more Premier League titles, or the same amount of Premier League titles as Brian Clough has entire trophies in his career. He's got 5 FA Cups, 4 League Cups, 10 Community Shields, 2 Champions League, 1 Club World Cup, 13 Premier League titles, and that's not even to mention all of his personal accolades as well. The other thing, and I think the most important thing, Alex Ferguson has a far greater and more deep legacy in football than Brian Clough. And they say you should mark a man's competence by his ability to pass on knowledge to other people. And there are 31 former Manchester United players that are now managers, including Solskjaer, Giggs, Robson, Strachan, and Laurent Blanc, who is the former PSG manager. He's implemented the concept of Fergie time. Yeah, tapping his watch, getting into the mentality of other players, of opposition players, so that he can then motivate his players to go and win. He implemented the concept of hairdryer treatment, implemented the concept of psychological warfare and mind games during his reign as manager. This is a man that we're talking about, and I dare Claude, I dare any of the commenters, any callers, to tell me about the influence and about the flipping, the influence that Brian Clough has had on football, which is a similar comparison to what Sir Alex Ferguson has ever had.
Number one,
You can jump straight in if you want to challenge him.
Look, listen, number one, Brian Clough never had the resources that Alex Ferguson had, yeah? Okay. And you've got to remember, he's turned ordinary players into a championship team. He's gone to the second division, brought a team up from the second division to the first, yeah? Right, and won the title with ordinary players, yeah, that were going nowhere in their careers. He's turned them players into championship winning teams.
You know, Alex Ferguson.
That is an incredible feat, mate. You can't take that away from him.
You know, Alex Ferguson did the same thing, right?
With what? When's he come from the second division and done? Also, he's won the title with 2 English clubs, yeah. Okay. 2 English teams he's won the championship with.
But so Alex Ferguson won the league.
He's won the European Cup back to back, which Ferguson has not done back to back. Back to back, remember?
Okay, what are you going to say back to that, Adam?
I was going to say that Ferguson has also won the league title with Aberdeen, and that's something that they didn't do for like 13 years. And he dislodged Celtic and Rangers at a time where nobody ever thought that could happen. He also won a European title with Aberdeen against Real Madrid. Which something
he also did not get the luxury of getting 5 years without winning anything. He wouldn't have. Also, he got that luxury. Okay. That now he would not have got now.
Yeah, that may well be true.
He never got that luxury.
But we can't overestimate.
And remember, he also had the. I'm not knocking, but he had the biggest resources that any club. Man United were the richest club probably in Europe at the time.
On their European success. Fergie's 3 big European successes. Mm-hmm. Who did he beat in the finals? Off the top of your head.
He beat Real Madrid. He beat Chelsea, and I can't remember who he beat the other time.
1999, Bayern Munich.
Bayern Munich. Yeah.
And do you know who?
Hold on. You said he's won 3 European.
Yeah, yes. 3. One with Aberdeen, 2 with Man United.
European trophies. But the Cup Winners' Cup was big in the 80s. It was big then. It wasn't like the Europa League is now.
Well, it's not the same, is it? I mean, yeah.
No, but I said European trophies. There are 3 European finals. But who did Nottingham Forest beat in their finals? Do you know?
Okay, Malmo, yeah.
Malmo.
Okay. Oh, bruv. Okay, hold on.
And who was the other one? Say the other one. Say the other one. Say the other one.
They still had to beat Liverpool.
Who's the other one?
But who was the other one? They beat in the final. The second one. Second year. Who they beat?
They beat Hamburg.
Hamburg. A food.
Hold on a minute. Hold on.
Hamburgers.
It don't matter. They still got to the final. They still got to the final. It don't matter.
Adam, can I ask you?
Of course.
Do you think if Sir Alex Ferguson would have taken... Let's think of a team now that's in the Championship or the old second division as it was. Let's say Sir Alex Ferguson took over... Dare I say it? But maybe a nasty word to use. If he took over Leeds United now, Fergie at say 40 years old, do you think he could do... obviously, you would need more resources nowadays because the big teams in England have resources, but we make the playing fields level. Do you think Sir Alex Ferguson could turn a team like a Leeds United into winning the Premier League inside 2 or 3 years?
I think if you look at it contextually, yeah. Everything that Sir Alex Ferguson did at the time that he was managing, he took the Aberdeen club, and as I said, dislodged Celtic, dislodged Rangers. There's every reason to believe that Fergie could replicate that in today's day and age. There's every reason to believe that because he did it and he maintained a consistent and sustained level of success across 2.5 decades. There's every reason to believe that he could do that now.
And from your point of view, you look at Clough. I'm not even saying that he's a great manager and a legend of English, British, and for me, he's in the Hall of Fame for European managers. He's that good a manager. I am seeing comments on here that are, again, we had this the other night with the Giggs and the Totti situation, you do not have to slag Clough off to elevate Sir Alex Ferguson. I think doing that is a weaker way of debating. My view, or what I want to ask you, is why couldn't Clough sustain his brilliance over the same period of time that Fergie did? Fergie was at Man United and Aberdeen, if you could put it together, over 30 years and won a title, the Premier League, in his last year. Where what happened in Clough's last few years?
He got Nottingham Forest relegated.
I think
relegated.
Towards the end, I think he lost it towards the end because I think he had other problems outside of football. Yeah, but if you look at it when he was at his prime, he done the business, and I think. You've got to realise that Ferguson did have the comfort of being at one of the biggest clubs in the world. Yeah, he didn't have that comfort.
Would you say it's a comfort being at a big club, or would you, Adam, would you suggest that maybe that pressure makes it harder to perform? We've seen David Moyes, we have seen LVG go in there and crumble under that pressure. We see managers go to Real Madrid and Chelsea and other big clubs and crumble. Do you think, so from your point of view, which is harder, going into a club like Man United in the mid-80s that had fallen from grace, or going to a team that was never expected to deliver and turning that around? What do you consider to be the best?
I think it's important to understand that Ferguson created his own comfort. He created so much success that he created himself like a little buffer zone where he could afford to have a couple of seasons where he didn't win something because he built Man United to what they are today. Like, he is the reason for all your success. He is the reason that Man United fans are clamouring for Mourinho, one of the best managers in the world, to be fired. And that is all because of Sir Alex Ferguson.
Also, while you got also a lot of his success, I don't think Clough also had the comfort of. He's had a lot of coaches, he's delegated a lot of work with other coaches throughout his career. All Clough had was Peter Taylor.
Yeah, and I get you had Peter Taylor,
so
and
he didn't have that comfort having all these different coaches.
Was that a choice? I'm asking the general question. Was it a choice for Clough?
It's a choice because he hasn't got the resources that Man United had. Man United had.
So Clough. Well, they did have resources. You got to remember. No, but they did have resources. They had resources. Nottingham Forest were the club that paid the transfer record at the time was £500,000, and they were the first. They doubled that, and they paid £1 million for Trevor Francis.
Boy,
they beat the world record. They broke the £1 million barrier for a player for Trevor Francis. So that would suggest to me that Nottingham Forest had resources.
Little Nottingham Forest, you know.
Well,
I mean,
get out of that one, Perry. Sorry,
listen,
I'm quoting a bit of Only Fools.
There's every reason to believe that Clough is a great manager. Back-to-back titles.
You're
in
talking
Europe
about
is
a team.
amazing.
You're talking about a team that's average grads was about 35,000 probably, and because you've got talking about Man United 50 to 55 at the time, yeah, 60,000 average, yeah. So there's a lot of difference. You know what I mean?
That.
You've got to look at that as well. You know what I mean? You just can't wipe it away. You can't wipe that away, and you've got to look that. He was a genius, Cloughy. He should have been England manager as well. He should have been England manager.
Yes, he was.
He should have been.
Was it Ron Greenwood that was picked over him?
Yeah, exactly.
It was wrong that happened. It really was. And if people don't know the history of that, there are some wonderful documentaries on Brian Clough. You can find them on YouTube and other providers. I would suggest, especially to our younger viewers, if you don't know much about Brian Clough, I can tell by some of the comments we're going to go through soon that people don't really understand what he did. Watch it. They're about an hour and 20 minutes long. Learn about the great man and understand what he did for British football, because he was a pioneer. There is no doubt about it. And this isn't about saying one was bad and one was great. This is about saying which one is the greatest.
Look at what he'd done with players like Kenny Burns. Kenny Burns was a centre forward. He turned him into a centre half. He was going nowhere. He was on the scrap heap. John McGovern, players like that on the scrap heap, turned him into championship winning players. Look at
Martin O'Neill.
He was going nowhere. He turned them into players and he moulded them into a team. They weren't spectacular, but he moulded them into a team. He didn't have the luxury of the players that Man United have got. He moulded them.
Like Ji-Sung Park, Fabio, Raphael, Bebe, Obertan. Come on.
You're going past the... come on. You're going past all that. Yeah.
We're going to go to the Twitter poll now. We're going to get that put up on the screen. Who was the best manager
It's not even close.
90% has said Sir Alex Ferguson.
The trouble is, right? Yeah,
We've got a comment here from Danny. We've got a comment from Danny. It says, stupid question. Fergie did things no other manager ever could do. We're having a look, and that's from a Liverpool fan. What I would say about that, we've had that on a lot of our debate shows this week. We've had a lot of comments here on YouTube. People saying, silly debate, it's not a debate. Well, it is, because you've heard some point of views put across. And there are people out there in the footballing spectrum that rate Brian Clough as a better manager.
That were born before 1992.
Yeah,
Come on.
so we are putting it out into the ether, into the spectrum, out onto YouTube, and this is an evergreen video because this is relevant because both managers have retired now. This is a relevant conversation in 3 weeks, in 3 years, in 30 years.
Sorry, our audience, right? I'm not being funny. How many of people like me sitting here and watching this tonight, mate? I'm not being funny. My age, come on.
It's true.
Some of them don't even know.
Claude,
Some of them don't even know that his son is. Never mind him.
his son is.
You know what I'm saying?
Ian Turlington says Hamburg were decent back then. How good? I weren't alive. How good were Hamburg?
Well, they had Kevin Keegan at his prime.
How good were Hamburg in 1980? How good were they? You remember? I heard you had hair then. Is it true you had hair then, Claude?
I've never had hair. No, but they were a good side. They were a top side. They were the best team in Germany. That's why they were in the European Cup.
This is true. This is true. And Malmo were the best team in Sweden.
Also beat the great Liverpool on the way to winning the European Cup. So you can't knock it.
Yeah.
Please, they beat them over 2 legs, and they beat them. I remember the special game it was, you know? I think it was 2-0.
Lucky Fam here says it's hard to compare as it's 2 different eras. Yeah. Fergie more successful in league titles when Clough did, while Clough did great, fantastic with the European trophies.
Alex Ferguson has won 3. What are you talking about?
That's European trophies, 2 European Cups, in case anyone wants to get pernickety to you.
What are you talking about?
Oh, so you look at players like Bertels. They went on to Man United. They were rubbish when they went on to Man United, didn't they?
Yeah, of course.
Under Clough, they were great. You worked that one out. When they went to Man United, they were rubbish.
There's a comment here saying, how dare you even make this statement? Whoever is debating for Clough is getting bullied tonight. That's a bit... I don't think anyone can bully...
I don't know about that.
No one can bully the man here.
Well, because half these people weren't even born when they're making these comments. Exactly. It's a waste of time. Because half these people are not even born when they're making it. My friend here across there, he doesn't even know who Clough is. He doesn't even know his son is.
Exactly. Who's his son? No,
Jesus Christ. That's honestly. With a comment here saying, no matter how hard life gets, you can't say Clough is better than Fergie. I'd smoke a cigarette before I do anything like that. I don't get the whole smoking a cigarette thing.
I don't knock this because that's the audience we've got, but none of them were even half of them. I bet if you took 90% of this audience tonight, weren't even born.
I have to say, doing research for this debate, it made my respect for both Sir Alex Ferguson, especially as an Arsenal fan, increase, as well as Brian Clough, because for somebody to do back-to-back league titles, regardless of whether it was against Malmo or
and back-to-back European Cup
that all of that is extremely impressive, and I can't emphasize enough how important it is, even to learn about today's game, to understand the history of football, because it will actually help you understand a lot of what's going on today. But still, Sir Alex Ferguson's a better manager.
Listen, we're coming to the end of our show now. We'll go back to the Twitter poll is pretty much done. We know who's going to win that, as we say. But look, I think what Adam said there, and from both the gentlemen, resounds true. I think that this was an opportunity really for people to watch these videos and then go out and do some of their own research. I'll give you an example. So last night, Chris was amazing in his debate. He put his efforts across excellently. However, there were some comments made by him. For instance, was Ryan Giggs ever nominated for Ballon d'Or? Just 6 times. That he received at least 1 vote. Now, we know he didn't get into the top 3. I'm not denying this, but this is the point I'm saying. Often, I think when we debate things in football, whether it's historic stuff like Clough and Fergie, or whether it's now when it's Messi or Ronaldo, people don't do their research on the opponent. On the opponent is important because we research the person that we like and go, oh, they've done X, they've done Y, and they've done Z. But you often find your opponent's done many similar things, and there's some great similarities between Brian Clough and Sir Alex Ferguson, and the style of play. I mean, Brian Clough's teams played really good football. Brian Clough for me is like a mixture of Fergie's football and Jose Mourinho's charisma. If you go back and listen to him, watch him, he could speak, he could talk, especially in his younger days, speak and talk.
People say he was a man of the people.
And he was a dictator, and it was well documented. It was you either did it his way or he got you out, and that's something I think modern day fans could learn.
I'll tell you what, another thing. That the equivalent I'm saying to it, it's like Leicester City going on now and winning the European Cup after winning the Premier League, right? Which they then do. That's the difference. That's what I'm trying to say. That's how good the achievement was.
Yeah,
and you've got to remember
you've
got to remember also in the Clough era, the pitches were awful, mate.
Yeah, but then that's the same for both. That's the same for both teams.
They didn't play on carpets.
No, I get that, but then that means the team you're playing against is also on an awful pitch. That equals itself out. I think the issue with the Clough's era, maybe not the issue, is that yes. You ain't going to see a team do. I don't think a team will do what Nottingham Forest did. However, what I don't believe you had in those days, and people can correct me if I'm wrong.
And plus, you had smaller squads.
I get, yeah, but then everybody did. My point is though, I don't think you had situations in those days where you had even teams like Real Madrid and Bayern Munich and Man United. They weren't. Now you look at Real Madrid and it's almost world class in every position.
Yeah.
I don't think teams were that top heavy with top individuals. Like you have Hamburg that would have had Kevin Keegan as a world class. Every team would have had its world class player, had its good players and its sort of squad players. I think now because of money in football, you'd never get a man. Like, all the top teams in England are like it. They're top heavy with quality.
So doesn't that make Clough's achievement bigger, really?
Well, I don't think
that if there weren't that so many to do
he killed the show, man. Don't let this guy come
No,
back.
I actually disagree. What I'm saying is, I think that it was easier to create a team that could win a title back then if you were a very good manager. If you were a very good manager, because you weren't. If Nottingham Forest now moved into the Premier League and they were up against teams with the sheer quality that the top six now have, they'd never be able to jump into that space. So I think it was slightly easier to do back then if you were a great manager. That's my point on that. But listen, I'm going to pick my winner, and it's actually a difficult one because Brian Clough did some really good things for British football, as I've already mentioned. But I think equally so did Sir Alex Ferguson. I think their charismatic natures are equal to each other. Their achievements, that's where it goes on for me. And Adam with Sir Alex Ferguson wins that debate for me. But that is taking nothing away from the great Brian Clough, who for me, I don't know if you can do this post. What's it called when someone's already died? Is it
posthumously?
That's the one. Can you be knighted after that? Because for me, he's the kind of person it should be. I mean, how he's not knighted is absolutely beyond me. But listen,
And also, I'd like to, while we're on the debate, wish Alex. I know he's in recovery at the moment.
Yeah, hopefully, and big day tomorrow, FA Cup final, and I think, do you know what? Like, a lot of Man United players and fans do it for Fergie. If he's, I assume he's either still in hospital, still receiving care. He'd love that. So that'd make him feel better winning that. I think what's been really nice the last week or so is that the respecting of his privacy has been a deal. So I've not really delved for information, but he's been sitting up and talking. I think he's well out of the woods, I understand. So yeah, Sir Alex Ferguson, just do it for him tomorrow. And no disrespect to any Chelsea fans watching, but I hope you lose. I'm going to be at the game. So sorry, Abs, he's doing it. So who's here tomorrow? Chris and yourself.
Yeah, man.
So we've got Claude and we've got Chris Kane presenting FanPark Live, because I will be at Wembley with the boys. I say boys like my friends who are boys.
Hopefully you're
watching.
phone in, are you?
If I'm not too intoxicated, I eat so much on match days as well. I'll have at least 3 or 4 pies, easy.
Who ate all the pies?
You sound proper cockney then, bruv.
Yeah, that's because I've been spending so much time on YouTube, bruv.
Quality. Listen, everyone take care. God bless. Smash that like button. Make sure you check out the history links below. They're going to have a handshake. They've got to do it. See you guys later. Back tomorrow for FanPark Live, FA Cup final. And then the next debate show is Monday night, 10 p.m. Bye-bye.